Wow. So, if you had been playing in this event, you've been playing a lot of Eternal. They mostly playing Vintage.
Sure.
But you're thinking about the Eternal formats. Is there some scenario where you would not have played Blue Red Delver with 4 Treasure Cruise?
If I didn't have a ton of time to test, I would have just run a Delver deck. If I had a significant amount of time, I would have been trying like hell to get Omnitel. I love the Omnitel combo. It is, you draw your entire library, they're all free. Like the combo, it's not vulnerable to Wasteland, you get to run Permission, and it seems like Dig Through Time would be good in that deck.
Sure.
Like I would have been trying to see if I could make Dig Through Time help break Omnitel.
That deck was in the top 8 of the Grand Prix trial yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
I'll show you the list, but we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, it sounds like we have an interview lined up,
great.
so I'm going to start shimmying as we bring in Scott.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, nice to meet you. Oh, we're going to condense. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, we're going to all go this way. Sorry.
This way?
There we go. Here we go. So, tell us about your matchup.
Playing Elves seems like a pretty good matchup for Blue Red Delver, especially when you're main decking Fork Bolts.
Is it a good matchup? I mean,
I'm not really sure, honestly.
You must.
I have not a lot of experience against Elves, but I mean, it seems good when you can 2-for-1 them on turn 1 and 2 all the time.
Yeah, that seemed great. It was like just getting a creature and a Dryad Arbor just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you basically Stone Rain them and kill one of their land at the same time. It seems absolutely amazing, especially for a tempo-based deck like Blue Red Delver.
So tell
Fork
us.
Bolt being, I think, huge.
Fork Bolt is amazing.
So tell us about you. Are you a regular Legacy player?
I mean, I started playing like about when Theros came out, and kind of went from draft.
Started playing Magic.
Basically, yeah. Like I mean, I played a little bit when I was a kid.
Okay. But he says to us as we're looking at him, going, "You are still a child."
I'm a lot older than you think I am.
So are we.
Okay, granted.
So you've been playing for a little over a year since your return.
Like, legitimately, like actual playing, like not like kitchen table kitty Magic.
Okay.
For about a year at Theros.
So how do you go from starting to play in Theros to you're here at the Legacy Championship?
I mean, we have like the Baltimore-ish area has like a really good Legacy community, and so like I had some friends that were at the local shop that playing Legacy, and they pulled me into it, And it's a great format.
How long ago was that? Was that right when you first got back with Theros?
No. Like it was maybe like spring, summer.
Okay.
Like after Theros released, I guess.
It's a pretty serious Legacy for the last 6 months or so then.
Yeah, I mean, just local events,
Go to Legacy Opens or?
I don't really. I mean,
this is your first.
The local ones, like the ones that are like reasonable driving.
Okay.
Sure.
And then, so you come here and are you just sat on Blue Red Delver from once you decide that you're going to be here? Or did anything you saw maybe yesterday affect your decision?
Not really. I mean, I was on Blue Red Delver before this Treasure Cruise, and stuff started happening back when we can price progress somebody for like 16. It's just amazing. But yeah, I mean, with like the Treasure Cruise and Monastery Swift Spear, like the strict upgrades to like the Goblin Guide and card drawing that you had. I mean, it's you can't really play the same variants.
So you took out Goblin Guide. What do you take out to make room for something like Treasure Cruise from what the deck used to look like?
So there's a little less burn in the deck is really what happened. Okay. So since you're drawing so many more cards, you're really just looking to cantrip and you beat people down with Monastery Swift Spear and Young Pyromancer tokens and just have an overwhelming board presence.
The whole crew come up from the shop?
There's a pretty good crew.
Everybody on Delver, or is there more of a mix of decks?
We're all over the place. I mean, everybody plays their own pet deck. It's not really like everybody's like, we have a team and this is the best deck in the format. No, everybody has their own pet,
Well, when you want to give a shout out to the store, what's your local shop?
My local shop is Titan Games down in Timonium.
Okay.
So come by. We've got a great crew there.
Awesome.
You playing tomorrow?
Probably not. I don't have a vintage deck yet.
Yet?
It takes a while.
Right.
I mean, it seems like an amazing format, so I'd love to have one, but...
Right. Maybe you end up with a Gaia's Cradle original art that you could trade.
I mean, we'll talk.
You could trade with some tools. So give me an idea, like, for people who may, tuning in who are not as familiar with Legacy. So you got a bunch of people coming up. Give us an idea of the range of decks that your group brought with you to this tournament?
Okay, well, we have Blue Red Delver. We have like the guy that plays Jund, only Jund. We have Sneak and Show. We have Reanimator. We have like pretty much every like deck that you've seen in a top 8. You know, is either at the shop or come up or somebody brought it or it's somebody's pet deck. I guess Miracles is another one.
The Jund guy cannot be happy about Khans of Tarkir getting published.
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like a great time for a resurgence of chains.
Yeah. So the rumors we've heard are Jund decks are playing Chains of Mephistopheles.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they have to do something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if the meta goes so Treasure Cruise heavy.
So one of the things that's interesting to me about Legacy is, again, you talk about this idea that everyone can play their pet decks. How do you build a sideboard for a format where you could literally play against 10 different decks? I mean, do you have a specific sideboard for Delver? You're like, I know I'm going to see Delver, and then here are cards that are just generally good in other matchups. What do you do when you're building a sideboard for this format?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of like you have like a couple of answers for each kind of deck that you need to build against, and like you have matchups that are a lot easier for you, so you don't worry about it as much. So you just kind of have a lot of general purpose kind of cards for a format as broad as it is.
So you look for broad swaths of decks. These are the aggro decks, and these are the cards I bring in. These are the combo decks, and these are the cards I bring in. Okay.
Exactly. Graveyard decks, etc.
Right.
Which aren't really a problem for this deck in general.
What's the worst type of deck for a Delver deck to face against? What's your worst matchup in the room?
Blue Red specifically, like before Khans would have definitely been like a Sneak and Show deck. Like a Pyroclasm that like wipes your board that you can't is just painful because they get all the time in the world to set up. Right now, I'm really not sure. I haven't really played with the Khans stuff enough to really say for certain what the bad matchups are. So.
Yeah, no, I actually thought Elves would be a bad matchup, but it sure didn't look like it there. Maybe it's because the Fork Bolts were...
The Fork Bolts were, like, insane in that matchup. Like, there were 2 in the deck, and there was 2, like, in my hand and at all times. So, I mean, my opponent must have really felt bad about that. Like it's scary.
We're covering the match. We're like, wow, if he has the Fork Bolt here, that's just going to be terrible. Oh, he does have the Fork Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think you might be vulnerable to people who can just kill you before you have time to start going on to treasure cruises. I mean, they've got to kill you through 4 Force of Will 4 days. I don't
think the treasure cruise is really the win con of the deck. It's really the cantripping with the young Pyromancer.
But you're adding up this value over the course of 3, 4, 5 turns. Right, if somebody can kill you on turn 3, then none of that stuff actually has time to matter.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of counter magic to
they have to kill you through the Force of Will.
They're on a serious clock, especially if you drop a Pyromancer on 2, and then every time you counter something, or they have to slow down a turn basically because they have to respect days.
I'm not ready to believe the deck has no bad matchups. I'm not going to convince me of that yet.
That is definitely not the case.
I mean, if you're sitting here, 6-8 hours from now, then maybe we can have that conversation.
Sure.
Right,
I mean, I'm not going to say the deck doesn't have bad matchups. I haven't played much with the Khans stuff in Legacy. So
one of the things as we were watching you play is it seemed like there's certainly a decision point for you in that match where you can be like, okay, am I gonna set him on fire, or am I gonna set his creatures on fire? Do you find that there's like a point in the match where you like pivot and you go, okay, I need to kill every elf here, and then I'll just eventually mop up with whatever guy sticks?
Yeah, so he doesn't really have, like, in game 1, he certainly doesn't have really a way of clearing my board. I really doubt he's, like, main decking, like, Golgari Charm or Deluge or something like that. So I wasn't too worried, and it was kind of like, I have so many tokens, he's just going to get ground out. So as long as I keep him from being able to, like, natural order kill me there, like, I'm just not worried when I have 10 tokens on the table or something like that. Even if he, like, abrupt decayed me, I probably would have still, like, dazed it to get 2 tokens.
Have you dazed any of your own spells to get more tokens off of Pyromancer, or to get a lethal prowess trigger or anything like that?
I kind of had a funny in round 1 where I was fork bolting my own Monastery Swiftseers because they dropped a leyline on 0. So it's a little odd.
Do what you gotta
Sure.
do.
Sure. +1, +1. Getcha. Getcha.
I will brainstorm, and then I will lightning bolt my Starry Slip Spheres. Get in there for another 3 each.
And that worked for you, though.
I did end up getting there. It was very, very close, though.
And if Swift Spear wasn't there, you'd just be playing Goblin Guides, and the deck would look pretty much the same.
Well, I mean, are we dropping the Treasure Cruise out also, or
I don't know. Is that what you feel like you would have to?
I mean, if we, I'm just saying, are we pulling
I'm
cons
saying,
out?
No. Just saying,
Okay.
if Swift Spear wasn't there, you'd still just be playing 4 Treasure Cruise and 4 Goblin Guides.
I mean, yeah, you could probably do it with the Goblin Guides, and then
Joe Tanner to main event stage, please. Joe.
yeah, you probably just do it with the Goblin Guides. You probably still play the Treasure Cruises. You might need a little bit better of the win con. You might bring the Price of Progresses back into the main deck. It depends, I guess, how many fair matchups you expect to see in the room versus unfair. So Fork Bolt versus maybe Price of Progress, or even more Chain Lightnings.
So let me ask you another question. Just so again, a year into your Magic career here.
Yeah, sure.
Are you do you see yourself going to like PTQs and GPs and trying to get to the Pro Tour at some point, or is this more your the arena you want to play in, sort of staying with the Eternal formats?
I mean, I take it a little more casually,
Okay.
to be honest. So, I mean, I'll do them if they're local. I mean, I love to play. I'm a kind of person. I've been doing like competitive stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I take Magic a little more casually than most. But when I play, I try to play competitive, play tough.
What's your competitive game background?
I played a lot of chess, played a lot of Go, played a lot of bridge, played a lot of poker.
Okay. I was gonna write my answer down and like see what you said, and then
Yes.
flip over chess. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, chess was maybe where I started, and then I learned bridge with my dad around really young, like 10 or something. And then,
we've seen this a lot actually, right? The players coming from chess to Magic. What is that? What skills are you transferring over that allow you to do well at Magic?
well, I would say like being able to think through like game trees kind of things, like, or like just paths, play paths, like, so. I mean, you need to like be able to understand what your opponent is able to do, what you can do, and like basically follow the game trees and figure out what can actually be done and what you're afraid of, what you don't want to happen, and how to mitigate it.
I know that Dennis Vidageris was a chess player, and what he'll do is a lot of times, he said as a chess player, he was taught to sit on his hands so that you don't make a move too soon and to think. Is there a certain amount of like patience that you bring to the game from chess?
Well, there's all kinds of like those tactics, like for like playing tournaments and whatnot, like, and mental preparedness from it, which is a lot of it. Like after all the years, like you're not going to rattle me at the table, like
Awesome.
that kind of thing.
Awesome.
So.
All right, well, we're going to let you go get ready for round 4. You're
Okay.
3-0, Scott. Hopefully we'll be interviewing you again down the
hope so,
stretch
too.
of this tournament. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Nice, Good luck. Nice to meet you.
All right, oops, sorry. Shimmy back over. Oh, am I shimmied too far? Sorry. Interesting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
one of us.
A year.
Played some back in the day.
Sure, but you know what that is. You know what that means. I played someone when I was a kid means I tapped 6 lands and cast a crawler. Right? That's exactly what that means.
Sure.
Maybe I tapped 6 lands and cast a crawler.
I don't know. He may have been a mirror enforcer instead of a crawler.
Sure. Right. So, interesting though. Interesting that I always love that sort of transition from other competitive games, chess and bridge to Magic. Just that sort of rigor that chess players bring to the game. About like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to make this decision and it's going to have these implications, and which way am I going to go and what am I going to do?
Yeah, but I mean, the bridge skills help too, where you're dealing with a shuffled deck of cards.
Right.
I mean, the poker skills as well,
Sure.
where just having to deal with hidden information, having to deal with the variance that's inherent from not knowing exactly what pieces you're actually playing with this game. I mean, all those skills help.
Yeah.
Certainly went through all those games myself. I never played much Go. That was the one I never quite
Right.
got into. if you ever played much Go.
Well, Go started playing after you were already gone to R&D.
Different Go.
Oh, I see.
Main event stage. Once again,
Enough of this from LSV last week. Thought I was done with him.